Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of this new podcast series Across the Waves, presented by the Leo Club of Hindu College, Colombo. I am your host Nivedita. Hereafter, at least twice in the month, we are going to unpack the emotions behind some special days of celebrations. There is joy in every celebration, especially when it comes to children. It is something more than that. Today is October 1st. Happy Children's Day for every kids all around the world. In all this world, there is nothing so beautiful as a happy child. On this Children's Day, we are happy to start our first episode of this podcast series, which is named as Joy. Now let's get into today's episode. Do you know the history behind this Children's Day? Exactly. It dates back to 165 years back. Children's Day was first celebrated on the second Sunday in June in 1856 by Rev. Charles Lennon of the Universalist Church of the Redeemer in Manchester, USA. He had a special children's service and called it Rose Day. This name was later changed to Flower Sunday and then to Children's Day. It was the Republic of Turkey which officially declared a national holiday for Children's Day in 1920, with the day set for April 23rd. This was confirmed by the founder and president of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Today it is celebrated as the National Sovereignty and Children's Day on October 1st, with many more events organized for children. Other countries which celebrate Children's Day include USA, New Zealand, China, Nigeria and Thailand. Sri Lanka celebrates Children's Day annually on October 1st. Celebration of this holiday raises public awareness about rights of children. The UN General Assembly adopted the Convention on the Rights of the Child on November 20, 1989, and it entered into force on September 2, 1990. Sri Lanka, as well as other member states, signed the convention that laid foundation for creation of Children's Day in this country. However, the choice of the date when the holiday is celebrated is not clear. But at the same time, this holiday is very important for people of Sri Lanka. Children are the key to prosperity and better future of the nation and the country. Taking care of children helps the state to raise its economy to a new level. Many events are organized for children on Children's Day in Sri Lanka. Government and non-governmental institutions organize various competitions, entertaining events and games for children, who also receive gifts for participation. Newspapers, radio and televisions have also an opportunity. Next, we are going to talk about the most important topic of the day is Convention on the Rights of the Child. Child rights and why they matter. Every right for every child. Children and young people have the same general human rights as adults and also specific rights that recognize their special needs. Children are neither the property of their parents nor are they helpless objects of charity. They are human beings and are the subject of their own rights. The Convention on the Rights of the Child sets out the rights that must be realized for children to develop to their full potential. The Convention offers a vision of the child as an individual and as a member of a family and community, with rights and responsibilities appropriate to his or her age and stage of development. By recognizing children's rights in this way, the Convention firmly sets the focus on the whole world. The Convention recognizes the fundamental human dignity of all children and the urgency of ensuring their well-being and development. It makes clear the idea that a basic quality of life should be the right of all children, rather than a privilege enjoyed by the few. The importance of children's rights. There are many reasons for singling out children's rights in a separate human rights convention. Children are individuals. Children are neither the possessions of parents nor of the state, nor are they mere people in the making. They have equal status as members of the human family. Children start life as totally dependent beings. Children must rely on adults for the nurture and guidance they need to grow towards independence. Such nurture is ideally found from adults in children's families, but when primary adult caregivers can't meet children's needs, it is up to the state as the primary duty bearer to find an alternative in the best interest of the child. The action or inactions of government impact children more strongly than any other group in society. Practically every area of government policy, from education to public health, affects children to some degree. Short-sighted policy making that fails to take children into account has a negative impact on the future of all members of society. Children's view should be heard and considered in the political process. Children generally don't vote and do not traditionally take part in political processes. Without special attention to the opinion of children as expressed at home and in schools, in local communities and even in governments, children's views go unheard on the many important issues that affect them now or will affect them in the future. Many changes in society are having a disproportionate and often negative impact on children. Transformation of the family structure, globalization, climate change, digitalization, mass migration, shifting employment patterns and a shrinking social welfare net in many countries all have strong impacts on children. The impact of these changes can be particularly devastating in situations of armed conflict and other emergencies. The health development of children is crucial to the future well-being of any society. Because they are still developing, children are especially vulnerable, more so than adults, to poor living conditions such as poverty, inadequate health care, nutrition, safe water, housing and environment pollution. The effects of disease, malnutrition and poverty threaten the future of children and therefore the future of the societies in which they live. The cost to society of failing its children are huge. Social research findings show that children's earliest experience significantly influence their future development. The course of their development determines their contribution or cost to society over the course of their lives. Well, next we will move on to the COVID-19 and how its impact on children. COVID-19 have impact on children in many ways, in education, in their mental health and etc. Now we will look into that. Emergency rooms have seen a 24% increase in mental health related visits from children ages 5 to 11 compared to last year. The increase among older kids is even higher, 31%. Food banks have been slammed with hungry families as an estimated 17 million children. Many largely cut off from free school lunches are now in danger of not having enough to eat. That's an increase of more than 6 million hungry children compared to before the pandemic. Schools are struggling to teach students remotely or in classrooms, in which children wear masks and sit behind plastic shields. One national testing organization reported that the average student in grades 3 to 8 who took a math assessment this fall scored 5 to 10 percentile points behind students who took the same test last year, with black and poor students falling even further behind. Classrooms have been unusually empty, with quarantines and sickness affecting attendance in face-to-face schools and computer issues interfering with online instructions. Some districts report that the number of students who have missed at least 10% of classes, which studies show could lead to devastating lifelong consequences, has more than doubled. And an estimated 3 million vulnerable students who are homeless in foster care, have disabilities or are learning English appear to not be in school at all. It all adds up to brewing catastrophe, said Barbara Duffield, who runs Schoolhouse Connection, which advocates for homeless children and recently found that even as more families are at risk of losing their homes to eviction or foreclosure, schools are providing support service to an estimated 420,000 fewer homeless students compared to last year. So this is very important and it's very vulnerable stage of children. We need to protect them and we need to support them. Next, we are going to talk about fast facts about children's brain development. 60% of all the energy a baby expends is concentrated in the brain. The birth to 3 period is the fastest rate of brain development across the entire human lifespan. Babies whose parents frequently talk to them know 300 more words by age 2 than babies whose parents rarely speak to them. Social interaction enhances the speed and accuracy of learning at all ages. All caregivers who are a part of a child's life impact his or her brain development. A strong parent-child bonds in early childhood prepares children to better handle stress throughout life. Babies learn what is important to pay attention to by following the eye gaze of adults. Humans are born with the ability to learn any language. Learning more than one language improves cognitive development. Children don't need special toys or videos to stimulate their brain development. Babies use the facial expressions of adults to decide how they feel. Holding and stroking an infant stimulates the brain to release important hormones that allow him to grow. If babies' bodies grew at the same rapid pace as their brains, they would weigh 170 pounds by 1 month of age. Reading aloud to children helps stimulate brain development, yet only 50% of infants and toddlers are routinely read to by their parents. By the time they are 3, children's brains have formed 1,000 trillion connections between neurons. Flow time with a child including talking, singing, reading, playing and exploring objects and physical space are the best ways to stimulate brain development. These are the fun facts about children's mental development. Well, on this very special day, let's all celebrate the innocence and purity of our kids. Let them feel precious in every way that we can, because they are our future. Happy World Children's Day. Thank you for listening to the podcast. See you in the next episode. Until then, here is your host Nivedithan signing off. Cheers.